These two things will give you unshakable confidence in the world. So last night I was on the way home from the doctor's office, and I'm in the fast lane. I'm going like 10 miles over. And this white Mercedes pulls up behind me, and you could tell they want to go faster because they're riding my ass, right? I just keep going because, I'm going 10 miles over. If I go too much more than that, then, I'm going to get a speeding ticket or whatever. Theoretically, I could have dialed up another 5, but I didn't want to. He was riding my ass, right? So eventually he gets upset, and he, just gets in the right lane and speeds off. And, he's going like way too fast. He's going probably like 20, 25 over, something like that. And so eventually we both get up to the same stoplight because the light changed before he could get ahead. Now I pull up to the light. I really don't care. I'm not mad that somebody rode my ass or whatever. But I feel these beady little eyes staring over at me from the car to the right. And sure enough, he's just like staring at me. He's like mad. This guy's like maybe 60 years old. He's driving this white Mercedes. He's the kind of guy that like tucks his polo into his, shorts, that kind of thing. He's got his little baseball cap on. And you can tell like he's in this little almost like passive aggressive space. Now, this was really interesting for me because, my life doesn't include this kind of energy. I'm, pretty well set. I got my hot wife by my side. I have a good life. I do a lot of cool things, and I don't really have negative people around me. So it's really only in these road rage scenarios where I catch this kind of energy from people. So when I felt him looking over at me, I just, I meet his eye contact. And usually in the time that the average person would look away, because when two males meet eye contact, that tension of aggression starts to build, right? And so usually in that space, one person will look away, like the average guy would look away, because who is this random person like trying to speed past me and looking over at me or whatever. But because I didn't look away, the second that tension built, his eyes were like glued to the windshield. He was looking ahead the whole time. I didn't break his contact. And probably for the next, 30 seconds, I'm looking over in his direction, waiting for him to look back. And he didn't do it. Now, this isn't the only time that this has happened to me. And I'm willing to bet the same thing for you. Where people feel really bold inside of their metal box that can go really fast, speed away, in the opposite direction from someone. But the thing that's interesting to me is that what makes a person be able to look in someone else's eye and not really care too much about the ensuing consequences. So for me, this really comes from two places. Number one, having trained jiu-jitsu for the last 8 years, you get to feel like what it would be like to fight somebody of a certain body type from training so much. And the other thing is really just being a student of reality. And what I mean by that is watching everything and giving it space in your mind and just taking everything in and wondering about things. And the more that you can stay present to tension, okay, and this is especially works in the dating world as well, because women will give you tension. The more you can stay present to tension, the more effective you will be in those hard scenarios. So if you want unshakable confidence, make sure that you're training and also be a student of reality.